Foster Car Finance, proud sponsors of the Awawi Famalam podcast. Haha, it's right, lad.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the How Are You Famalam podcast. Sorry, lad, do it again. Me and my co-host John May, please like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Sorry, lad. Today we've got a very special.
Let me take over. Today we've got a very special guest. Been mates with him for about 16 years. We've been through it all, haven't we, lads? And yeah, it's the second time meeting you, isn't it?
Yeah. Tell me who you are then.
I'm the Meatball. Sad. Forgot, yeah. Don't you know?
Yeah, if you didn't know, now you know. Meatball, Molly McCann. Today we've got a special UFC fighter. Was boxing, man?
Yeah, all started with
now
boxing.
Business entrepreneur.
Yeah, so...
Lady of the city.
Trying on, lads. Trying my best. But yeah, started out with the boxing with you, actually, didn't I, in the Golden Gloves. Little Jazza taught me the little counter-check hoop.
So you started out boxing?
I actually started out playing football.
Football,
yeah.
really, man?
Playing for Liverpool. And then I was 16 and I started a college course.
Where was you from, Mal, first of all?
So, right, let's go. Molly was born in Vasachley Hospital. May the 4th, 1990, £5, 4 ounces.
What day was it on?
It was a Friday, actually. Then I think we moved to Highton. No, I'm just joking. Grew up in and around Norris Green. Went to primary school at Monkstown Primary. Then I moved to Bournemouth.
Did you?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Loads of scouts in Bournemouth, didn't there?
Do you know why?
I've got a feeling.
Yeah. So a few scousers went down in the 80s doing bits and bobs. My mum and my real dad went and followed. So I was down there from about 8, 9. And then when I was 16, I signed for Liverpool Football Club and moved back to Liverpool. And I started college over the road. That one right there, Voxy. And the course was sport development with boxing. So it was sport recreation with boxing. So I was learning all about like grassroots sport all the way up to the elite level, coaching and running community centres and sports centres and stuff. But the sport that they was using was boxing. And one of the tutors on the course was Kevin Smith. Who was
Shout out Kevin Smith.
Yes, Australian boxing. And so basically 4 hours a week I'd be in the Golden Gloves and we was just getting taught how to coach. So the structure would be just learning how to box and then I'd have to coach that back. So I came from like I just wanted to fight when I was boxing and then I had to learn how the art of boxing, do you know what I mean? And Kev Smith was probably one of the best teachers with any lads that we could.
At this point, Mal, you're playing for Liverpool girls, are you?
Yeah, so I signed for them at 16, was in college at 16. And then I was so small. I was like 52 kilo. So it really paid dividends for me football because I started turning into like a little hard knock. And then I was like an animal on the pitch, do you know what I mean? Like, well, more like a Jack Russell on the ankles. But there was always this, I loved football. And even though I'm a blue, I loved representing the city and to put like the Liverpool top on and to go and play the Manx and then beat the Manx or go down to London and win. It was massive for the club, do you know, it was massive for me and it made all my family proud because half of them are obviously Liverpool fans.
Who were you playing with at this age, Mal?
They're still all like around now, but I'm 31, so this was when I was 16, so, but I grew up with like Tony Duggan and Nikita Paris and all them was at Everton. So all the ones who have finally made it now, I was in and around, but it didn't really pay when I was about. It was like, I think you got £10 a point. Do you know what I mean? Like if you was in the first team and the Rezzies didn't even get petrol money. So it was just all about the love of the sport. But I loved football more than I loved I loved football more than I loved boxing, but I was better at fighting than I ever was at football.
Okay.
And then I stopped playing football when I was about 20. I got injured. In this time, I was like, in the summers, I was going to America and I was coaching out there and then like living the best life. Like I'd have to like be like a monk when 16 to 20, I was boxing and playing football, and at college over the road and working in Subway. So I literally had to live this life like a monk to be able to do it all.
Yeah.
And then at these 4 months in the summer holidays, it was summer holidays though, weren't it? I just like fuck off and just...
What was it called? Summer camp, was it?
It was
Camp America, was it?
no, so it was a soccer academy. So it was, people would pay their kids to go there to be refined, because it was only English coaches. So it weren't like we was babysitting them. We was getting them ready to trial for like the colleges, do you know, like prepping them. It wasn't like a day camp or them kind of camps. But like I was introduced to all like ale and food and the UFC when I was over there, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I remember I won the ABAs one year, and I'd like left Liverpool like 56 kilo, and then I put a picture online, and I always remember Jazza and our little mate Dylan just fucking ripping the ass out of me, because it must have been about 70k, because I just put so much, like I was in like
started to look like an American.
Yeah, I was like rolling on the pitch like that. But when I came back, I just realised.
Sorry, Chase.
Yeah. New York was my best state though, lad, and I'd always finish there. Like I'd work the whole summer, we'd save up our money, and then just blow it on a mad weekend in New York, and then fly home.
Is that where you were going at the time, or when you were going?
Yeah, I was based in Virginia, just 20 miles south of Washington DC. So I was in a place called Manassas, and it was like you could just tell the coach didn't want to pay for us. Do you know what I mean? Like he was fuming, he had to pay our accommodation, and we was just like living in like digs, like in like little Mexico. I swear to God, I was like finally learned what like burritos was and quesadillas and guacamole. I was like that, ooh, queso and chips. But oh, listen,
everything and chips.
Yeah.
See, what I've noticed, like speaking to loads of fighters, like since I've been doing this, he's all like when he's younger, he's all have a stint where he's do quite a bit of traveling and stuff. That's great. That's like really like great life experience, isn't it?
The thing about fighters is you get the experience.
Jazz, stop touching the microphone.
We'll get complaints, Jazz.
Off cam.
So you were a brilliant fighter on Mal, weren't you? You've gone over that. You were a brilliant fighter. When you came to the gym, I didn't know that you were in a college. I just thought you came down to the gym with RJ.
With RJ. And because I was in there in the day learning, and then because I was from Norris Green and the gym was in Toxteth, so it'd take me 2 buses and an hour and a half just to get there. So I'd just stay in the gym the whole day and be the last one out. Me, Jazz and Joe Harper, rest his soul, we'd be the last ones out the gym every day. But everything about fighting and discipline and just being a fucking world champion mindset all came from that gym, and the stock and the group of lads that I learned from are like proper pillars of the city. Do you know what I mean? And it was only the fact that when boxing got added to the Olympic Games, so say there was 12 medals for the lads, they had to take medals from the lads to give to the women. So they only give... Yeah. So like the lads were like, well, you're not taking our medals, because if you imagine how many people are actually boxing.
Yeah. My weight category got took out.
Those got took, didn't it? Yeah. And there was a bit of backlash on it, but my weight category didn't get added. So 51 did, 61, and I think it was 75 plus. So it was like your light, your middle, and your heavies.
Ashley Jonas, Savannah Marshall, was it?
Yeah, and Nicky Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Stars.
Yeah. Like, changed the face of the game.
Yeah, what, coming through the Olympics. Is it equal now? Is it all the same now? Or is it still...
No, I think I'm not sure if these 4 weights for the women are, but I think it's still 3. But I know in the Worlds and the Europeans now, they let all the weight categories compete and not just the 3 Olympic weights. But... yeah, all of my best mates are still professional boxers around the city, do you know what I mean? And it was really sad for me, to be fair, because I thought and being around him, like our goal was like the Olympics, and it weren't even there for me yet, do you know what I mean? But I thought, that's what I'm going to do.
You still had it?
Yeah, I thought that. No, I always had. I'm going to fight on the docks. And I remember like me and him will cross paths, like running along the docks every now and then.
Really, would you?
Wouldn't we? And I remember I was running one day and using the car with Rob, do you remember?
I remember that.
I was like, yes, lad. I was like, probably had about 10 kilo to cut like down a fucking sweatsuit. But
yeah, you was. You were running dead slow, actually.
So your careers are running parallel, aren't they?
When Molly said the gang of lads who was in the gym, she literally means the gang of lads. There was no girls there. Molly only sparred with lads from the start.
Yeah.
You didn't compete as a female, or you just as a boxer, weren't you?
Get on this, imagine this, right? First ever boxing fight, Kev Smith. It's 2006. He's proper like, what's the old man? Mickey on
Rocky.
yeah, so listen, he's got his towel on his shoulder, cig in his mouth, giving it all that. Yeah, he went, all my mates are out there, love. I'm like that, okay, coach. He went, so don't fucking embarrass me.
Don't make a show me.
Don't make a show me, love. It was in the Kirby Suites. Fowler fought one of the Quicks, I'm sure it was one of the Quigleys, even. Sorry, I think it's one of the Quigleys. So me and Anthony Fowler, the only ones from the gloves on the show, I'm more like that, like Steungi, and that was there. Like, and I really looked up to these people, and I thought, oh my God. Yeah. I seen him the other day, he had COVID, lad, nearly died.
Shit, he's been in the hospital in the uni, intensive care, getting fed through it all for 5 months.
Good, because he lost a bit of weight from it, by the way. Yeah, he's about 4 stone down. But anyway, going back to this, I've rocked up to Kirby Suites. I haven't told no one I was boxing because I was just dead scared anyway. Like, I was like a shitting dog, like that, couldn't eat. And I remember when I made weight, actually, I was like 4 kilo light because there was no girl, so you just had to kind of like, you was only allowed to be 2 kilo either way of what the bout was made of. So I had to go and buy a pair of Timberlands or borrow them off someone, put a pair of jeans on and a hoodie and just stand, like put keys in my pocket and that and just stand on the scales. And I got in there, we're warming up, and as I'm about to fight, the girl sees me hitting pads with Kev, and they go, it's going to be a kid gloves now. I went, you fucking what? Kid gloves, so it's no contest. It's like an exhibition bout. I went, you fucking joking, aren't you? Like, I mean, I was fuming. And they go, no. So I've got in there and I just...
Sorry, why?
Because
they knew you were going to...
The other girl didn't want it in the end. She was from over the waterway and so she was a little bit like that. And just messing. So we get in there and he goes, right, first round, jab only. And I was like, I'm fucking fighting here, jab only. Anyway, thought, yeah, whatever. She's hit me for 1-2 anyway, so I thought, right, we're going. Ended up lighting it up, and then the second round he goes, right, you can add angled shots, hooks and uppercuts. And then the last round he went, right, open round. So I went like that, boom, and just stopped. Right, that's done, we're done.
Wait, did you know what you were doing?
Yeah.
Did you just so they'll introduce it?
Yeah, because I just started throwing like a little one of them because I thought people know what's going on here, do you know what I mean? And then I got out the cage. Wow. Sorry. I got out the ring and Kev put his arm around me, like still got his cig in his mouth, breathing it all on me and that. And he was just like, I'm really proud, yeah. And that's the first time a coach had like, I'd had that. Do you know what I mean? I'm proud of you.
You have to work hard for Kevin Smith's approval, didn't you, really?
Right. So Kev Smith ran the gym on his own and...
With Joe Harper.
But Joe would do like the kids and Kev would pad everyone. No one got pads. No one ever sparred really because it was like one man doing everything winning. But if you got pads off Kev Smith, it was like...
And everyone stands on the rope like that watching. I'm next,
really?
I'm next. And can I ever go next, Kev?
Please, Kev. And
I mad out.
So that was a sign to say...
Like, it was just his approval. If you're going to work... I remember my first ever boxing bout though. I lost. I went to Steel City in Sheffield and they just robbed me so bad on the decision. And I was like, fuck this, I'm not doing it, coach. Like, you can't rob, like, you can't steal a kid's, like, fucking win. And he went, well, listen, love, if you don't come back to the gym on Monday, I don't want to work with you. I went, what do you mean? I said, it just weren't fair. He said, I don't care, life's not fair. He said, I don't want to work with a quitter. I was like, that face went back in on that Monday morning. I was like, no. But he got jobs and moved forward and, like, got really great success and the success he deserved. But me and Jazz is in the gym one day and it's run by Kev Barry, Georgie Treble and Johnny Warbo. And I remember Warbo had this big ego and everything had to be his way, blah, blah, blah. And I remember Kev Smith. Warbo's warming us upstairs in the gymnasium, right? And the real gym's down the stairs with the rings and the bags and that. And Kev Smith walked in and me and him was like that. Poof. Me and him just left, right? Ran out to the session. Please, can we have pads? And because Kev just fed you this confidence where like you're going to absolutely go and fuck him and this is how you're going to do it, but just dead calm. But he just made you believe he's a world champion on pads, didn't he? His time and just the way he moved, like he moved and it was like a proper like a dance when you were hitting pads.
Disciplinarian, really. Not everything has to be perfect, and you got his approval by doing things perfect.
Yeah,
so you
yeah,
felt
yeah.
good. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, but me and him, like,
Do you ever think back to that moment and think, I was ill-disciplined there towards Warbo?
yeah,
I do now when I look back.
but I don't think it was fair, like how we was just left in the lurch, and it was just too many cooks at one time in the kitchen.
We were insecure because at the time, our coach, he got a job to be head coach of Scotland and he left. Yeah. So he was like, we were in the wilderness for a while. We were looking after
training ourselves in Jazz's fucking roof.
We had another coach, Joe. Joe was old. He had there was no structure to the gym, so he'd be on the bag and he used to come over with his bag of toffee, didn't he? But Joe's way of giving you his approval was, yeah, get a piece of that in your mouth.
So you're like,
it's good for you.
Licorice toffee from Thornton's though. We're it, lads, yeah. And I said to Jazz, I said, like, I'm not sure if it's because me and him were proper street kids and came up with nothing, or that we had the best work ethic. That's probably what it could have been. First in, last out. Gave it, like, overloaded to death. We overtrained every single day. But he's seen that, and he'd leave us like a bottle of water on the side, a little orange, and like crepe bandages, like, because no one had money for gum shields for bandages or nothing like that, and he'd like make sure we had dry gloves on the side, and I just thought,
kind to us, small, really. We were lucky to have these people, really, weren't we?
Yeah, 100%.
These people, they do it for nothing, all, don't they? They make you do your and they don't. They
don't care, and they don't ask for like gratification and nothing like that, like at all, and it's mad, but. Like the grassroots, them kind of coaches, they are the things, especially like in the times like now, like that's the difference in you being on county lines and you being selling drugs or you being naughty. Like my role model was, he had 6 kids back at home and a wife, and he was giving up his family life for us. Yeah. And I'll never forget that. I will never forget that.
The city know me and you are now, but they don't know Joe Harper is. It's sad, isn't it? He should be getting the
lad, that's just proper give me goosebumps.
Mad, isn't it?
Joe Harper. And this is funny, so we're going back about Warbow, and he had.
But he was giving back to society as well, though, wasn't he?
Joe Harper was in the game for about
listen, he was like third in Europe at one point, like as a professional man.
Yeah.
Like doing 15 rounds. But he always used to tell me, he used to say, like in the top of Dingle, all the men used to make like a ring, and then the women would be fighting like bare knuckle and all that.
He when was this? Like the
50s, 60s, yeah. He was like, Molly, the birds are that. Because could you imagine this, right? He was so old school.
He used to have a little bet in that, didn't he, behind Kevin Martin?
Yeah. But he was like, yeah. But he was giving his time to a girl, and I think sometimes he had his favourites, and he was the apple of his eye, and Fowler used to get fuming because he'd be like, why isn't he looking after me? But Joe loved him just as much.
Joe was Bavara's favourite too, wasn't he? Before we joined, he had like called Brian Brody. He was
Brody, but then he
special talent.
He went off the rails.
And Joe was like, he was that old school with his favourites. He said to me, "You're a great fighter, but if Brody come back, he'd be fucked off tomorrow."
Oh, fucking hell.
It was just Joe's way.
If my Brody come back.
Oh, no, but listen, like, I think he went on tag anyway and he weren't allowed in L8, but sometimes you just see him racing on his bike and you see Joe like that. Like he was just devastated. Broke his heart.
The one that got away.
The one got away. But I'll tell you a funny story. I was in the fine. Warbo sat me down. What do you want to achieve out of this season? I want to be an ABA champion. No, like a real goal. I want to be an ABA champion. He's like, no, it's your first like senior season. Like I had that one kid gloves, do you know what I mean? And I was like, that's what I want to do. Yeah, listen, I swear to God. And anyway, I just thought, fuck you. Like, I will go and do this. I'll do this myself. Do you know what I mean? So,
go on.
I remember pre-quarters, quarterfinals was in Skem Sports Centre. All my family came. Muftied the girl in there anyway, looked around, all my family's right, and like they've been on one for 2 days anyway. Do you know what I mean? I was like that. It's like it's amateur boxing. My cousin Billy's getting skull ragged because she's fucking had murders with the girl whose family I'm fighting and all that. I was like, that for fuck's sake. But anyway, I win the semi-finals. This is in Manchester. And Joe Harper was in my corner, and so was Kev Barry.
Sorry, who was it who asked you again what do you want to do?
Warbow.
Okay, cool.
So we're getting to right.
Sorry,
I get to the final. So get to the final, and meet 2 coaches who are the ones who never wavered, stayed with me always. Get to the final, and on fight day, I'm going to be in your corner. Yeah, Kev Barrett's going to be handing up to me. I was like, No, he's not. I said, Joe Harper be handing up, he's the number 2, Kev's the number 1. I said, you'd had your chance anyway.
Shout out Kev Barry.
Yeah, shout out Kev Barry. And then I won it. And I said to him, thanks very much anyway, because he is as a coach, like, Warbo was next level, and he taught me little tricks, and he taught me more like a Russian style, like an Eastern European, where we was taught like a Cuban style. So it was nice to mix them together and understand it's like step and not just slide. And I took a lot from him. Do you know what I mean?
That doubt that he appeared to have in you drive you even more to win that year.
Yeah, because you'd imagine, like, I tried going to St. Teresa's ABC, a boxing gym in Norris Green. I just got KB, no girls. Was in Bournemouth, no girls. So I was always told no. So then I was just like, I got little man syndrome. I was like, fuck this. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to do it. And but it took me, I'd say, until maybe the last 4 years where I've like got rid of that chip on my shoulder, and now I know I'm not a spectator anymore. I'm not a fan. I really am.
Sorry, Molly, was there a lot of that when you were younger? You got rejected from clubs because you were a girl?
Of course, yeah.
It's mad, isn't
But
it?
the Golden Gloves let me in, and I just think like it's a diverse club. So I feel like everyone who's kind of trained there has been through a lot of discrimination. So they just let me in. Do you know what I mean? Come on, Gail, get in with us.
So what are you talking? 15 years ago?
16, yeah.
It was a boss club though, wasn't it, Mal? There was everything. There was all different races. There was people like who couldn't be seen together in the street.
Yeah.
But then be in the gym, and like the female male thing, no one even thought about that, did they? It was just
No,
like,
I was like the golden girl, but I'd still have murders before I'd try my best. I'd like get hit in the face, crying, still keep coming forward, and I was never treated any different in a negative way. I was always treated as an equal in that gym, but the qualities, like the coaching qualities I experienced was such a high level. I was able then to go into MMA and just transfer the skills like that because I'd been taught correctly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You must have inspired so many people then, because that was only, so that has been 2006. So 2006, as a young girl, you struggled to get in boxing clubs.
Yeah.
That wouldn't happen now, was it?
No, like I'm literally going to teach a kids MMA class at R5 in my gym, and it's 50-50 split.
Yeah.
So what I mean, you've got your like mini little paddies and then your mini meatballs, and it's like it's mind blowing the messages that I get or the people that I see, and it's amazing being from Liverpool because when you're one of the city's own, they proper look after you and you proper inspire them. Do you know what I mean? And when I see mums and dads and they go, will you just do a little video for me kid and all that? And it's like, sometimes I have to proper pinch myself, and I don't do it, and neither does he. We don't do it for we're very active on Instagram, but we don't do it for the love of that. Do you know what I mean? It is to be a world champion, it is to provide, and it is to inspire.
Yeah.
But sometimes it really is like a pinch me moment because you're just like, fucking hell, I only fight in a cage.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But then obviously it's where we come from, it's the backstory and it's all that. Like,
And that keeps you humble.
yeah.
do you feel like, Mal, do you feel like things would have been better for you in the terms of boxing? Before we go on to the MMA, in terms of boxing, would the things been better for you if you were a little bit younger? Because look at these girls now.
You can say that massively as an amateur wise, and to be able to develop, like further develop 100%. But then I have the conversation with Natasha Jonas all the time. I was like, Jane Couch knocked on the door, right? She was like ringing the bell.
Yeah.
Me and Tash have like got a like an axe and like, here's Johnny, did you know what I mean? Like we've broke the door in, and now the kids we've made the blueprint. All they've got to do is follow it. Do you know what I mean? And you can go amateur, professional, and you can make a living.
Yeah.
Jane Couch is a woman who you couldn't fight for a world title, could you?
Women weren't even allowed to professional box properly, but she sorted it in the end in Las Vegas.
She fought hard to get women's boxing.
Yeah.
Just to be able to.
She's an MBE, lad. She's an MBE. She's like she was on Parkinson. Is it Parkinson? Parky. She went on and she started giving him body shots and all that. And listen.
Oh, has she got a curly hair?
Yeah.
Oh, I know she is. Yeah.
So everyone knows her. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like I feel sorry for her, but then her story should be made into a film.
Yeah,
Do you know?
yeah.
Like honestly, because she always converses with me on Twitter, and I think because I'm the first woman in England doing MMA, she was the first woman doing boxing. Like we have that mutual respect, and we both fight like.
So you're creating a new branch as well for girls, aren't you? Let me ask you quick, where did the name come from?
So I
Meatball?
used to work in Subway.
Really?
Yeah, so,
Is that what it is?
Yeah, Jazz used to come in and go, I'll have a tuna mayo salad and all that. And then I'd end up just giving him about 12
How do you
cookies
remember
or
I
so.
used to get tuna mayo?
Lad, I don't forget orders. Listen, I went no, listen.
You know, if everything doesn't work out, you can always go back.
But listen, someone literally put from sandwich artist to mixed martial artist.
Wow, boss. Boss.
Ooh. But yeah, I used to do the 11-7 shift in there. So I'd do the night shift, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then I'd have uni. I'd go to uni and do that. Then I'd go and do the MMA every day. And then I'd probably end up on a bender one day a week as well.
Make it all work.
But I made it work, yeah.
Wow, no way.
So there's no avenue where they won't really for you to go into professional boxing.
There was no boxing at the pro boxing at the time. No.
Was you relieved when you thought there could be an avenue here to go into the MMA? And what was it like for you? How did that come about, the MMA?
Can I just ask first? You said you were doing like boxing coaching in college, and you were going to America to do football coaching as well. Was there a point where you thought, because you're a woman, I can only settle for coaching?
I never wanted to play football and that be my job. I always thought, right, there's more to my life than playing football, and the opportunities weren't there. What is for the kids now?
But there was a time that you thought,
I
I'm going to have to be a coach.
I really enjoy teaching, and that's because we had good teachers to learn from. And when I quit football and I quit boxing, because I fucking hated it. This is when the gloves went down the Swanee, didn't it? And did you went back to Solly then? Or the Everton Red, was it?
Solly, but Kevin Smith, he went to Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Smith and Joe, our original coaches, went to another gym and I went there with them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For the year.
Yeah, and I was like, I'd lost my family, like where I had been to Bournemouth, Liverpool. My family was the football team or a weekend with him and Dylan. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just lost that. And then, because he was like, he got really good at boxing, and he was like going away to like Commonwealth Junior Games and like all just trying to get ready for the Olympics.
Next step after we won the ABAs. We had the GB platform. We could go further with that, with the hopes of turning professional. But Molly's
it was not, and so it was just like,
didn't have it.
That's what I was saying. So that might have been as far as you could have got was coaching.
Female Olympics didn't exist.
Yeah, there was nothing there. So then I was like, right, if you can't teach. So then I just ended up literally going back here to this college and doing an access course. Shout out to Vicky McCann who got me through it. And I went to uni to be a PE teacher, and I was still working in and out of Subway, and I was working in nightclubs as well, because I'd give up sport at this point and I was just on the aisle and just like being a student and living a life. But then there was so much like inner monologue and inner battles with myself, because I thought I'm better than just doing this, even though I was still achieving. Like I went and volunteered in Africa for a couple of months.
Wow.
I was still going to America coaching. I was doing a lot, but then I was like, I shouldn't be drinking. Am I going to be this scouser who's won an ABA title, who's played football, and then's in someone's kitchen 10 years later going, well, when I was younger, I used to do that. And
I used to fight lads.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
lad, watch our shadow. But like, I thought there's got to be more for me here. So when I was at uni, I got sent home after a night out because I was too drunk, and I put the telly on and Ronda Rousey was on. It's the 24th of February 2013.
Wow, okay.
And it was like 5 a.m. And I remember watching it, and I'd like done little bits here and there of MMA. I'd sparred the MMA girls to bring their striking on, and I just thought, oh, I'm not into that. It's disgusting. I was like sweaty men rolling on me and that. Ugh. Or like sweaty women, like it didn't matter. It was just like that, no thanks. And then I watched Ronda Rousey. I seen judo for the first time. It's like poetry emotion. It was like watching a boxing fight for the first time. I was like, oh, was she just flipped in and then done this? And
how old was you, Molly, then?
23.
Okay, go on, sorry.
Okay, so the next day, I'm pissed out my head. Actually, I've just sent an email. Hey, Paul, are you still like taking on? I've just watched Ronda Rousey. I want to be like that Ronda Rousey. I'll be in tomorrow. So Monday morning, come. I've gone into uni. I said, I'm not coming back. They're going, why? I said, I'm new career. I'm like,
wow.
I'm like 4 months from finishing. I'm writing my dissertation as we speak, right? Not doing it. Doing this UFC.
Did you just have a moment of this inspiration that just filled you up like that?
No, because everyone was going, what are you doing? What do you mean? They was like, you paid about 21 grand to go and get this degree. And me tutor Louise went, how long have you been doing this UFC? I've never heard if you speak about it. I said, I haven't done one lesson yet. I'm going tonight. Listen, they was like that.
You're fucking amazing, mate. Brilliant.
And then I just went in and I got ruined.
What do you reckon their conversation must have been, Mo, when you said that she's lost the plot?
They had like, is she on drugs?
Yeah, but you just knew, didn't you?
Is like, I was probably all bouncing off like a coffee and that's what I mean. They're like, she's definitely like round the bend here.
Phone him up.
Yeah. So I went home and I rang my whole family. I'm going to do this. I am going to be the next Ronda Rousey. So remember the date, February 24th, 2013. 5 years pass, right? February 4th, 2017. Is that 5 years? 2018? Fuck knows. I don't do maths.
Doesn't matter.
5 years anyway. Liverpool Echo Arena. Meatball Molly's headline.
Wow.
Fight for the world title in a home city. Paddy the Baddies like open the show for me. I close it. Darren Till's sitting there. I become the first woman to headline. I become the first woman to win a world champion. I done it 5 years to the day.
No way. To the day?
To the day, 24th, exactly.
Fucking
Exactly.
boss.
You couldn't write it. And then anyway, the UFC rings, get signed to the UFC. 6 weeks later.
As you do,
yeah. I was sat there on the toilet, dead funny story. I've been on the Ale again in London with my manager. And I get the train back and I sound like this. I'm like, oh my God, I've been screaming all night. And I get a phone call, Meatball, you're not fighting in September, you're not retaining your belt. Why? I'm thinking, I need the money. I've spent it all on a new watch. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I need to fight. And they go, you're going to be fighting UFC Liverpool. And I was just like that. I couldn't speak because my voice was that like hoarse, but I was like that. It'd be like you just getting the phone call for the world title with Ragonda. Do you know what I mean? It's like that. What? Yes. And then I trained my little heart out. I have £37 to lose in 5 weeks. I lost.
wow.
Listen, I lost 36, and then I couldn't get the last pound off. I got fined £2,000. So the last day before the weigh-in, I had £15 to sweat at 14 off, and then they go, we'll take the fight, we'll take $2,000 of your money and you can only reload £9. I was like, oh fuck. So I didn't even get to eat. I was only allowed to drink, right? And I mean, I'm putting carb drinks, like, it was just not what you wanted. And then I've walked out and I was like that, oh my God, the lights just got to me and I just froze. Yeah, and the girl, my striking superiority is there and her grappling was there, and if it stayed standing, she was getting bingoed. If it went to the floor, I was getting tapped. And anyway, she got me back and she put her arm around my neck, and I just remember looking up. It was like UFC flashing lights. And I thought, right, I've got to go out on my shield here. Like, there's no defending what she'd done, clear cut. Like, I've got to tap. And I went to tap and I thought, no, don't bitch out. So I just put my arms down and let it take me. And I just went to sleep. And then I was out for about 10 seconds before the ref realised I was asleep. So when they realise I'm like fitting on the floor, it takes me a couple of minutes to come round. And when I come round, it's a dead funny story because you can hear it like on the microphones. It's like a documentary's being made of me, but they've let me listen to it. And I wake up and it's all warm and it's a canvas, so it's all quite sandy. And I'm like, it's all hot. And I was going, am I in Barbados? Wow. And they go, and then I feel my coach's hands on my shoulder, and then I look at my gloves and I'm like, am I in the UFC? Because I'm not with it. Yeah. And then I go, and he puts his hands on me again. He goes, no, love. And I just, fuck. Just put my head down. Listen, I was like that, right? I've got a standing ovation because people will just normally tap. And I just thought, I just thought like, I'll go out on my shield. Like, if there's this much chance for me to win, like her arms could have burnt out, and then she could have thought, she's a tough bastard. She's not going and tried.
Never give up.
No, moral of the story, never give up. But I remember I had to go and have stitches in my face because she had elbowed me a few times. My coach Paul's hands are massive, and I just held like one finger, and I was looking at the floor, and I thought, this is the first loss. This, like, I've never been finished, so to be finished is different mustard, isn't it, lad? Like, the feelings, you're just like that. And I just remember holding his hand, and I said, I'm so sorry. He went, what? He said, look what you've done in 5 years. What? No. I was like, that weren't good enough. I didn't turn up, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it was like a year of like suicidal thoughts, like depression, feeling just like a bag of shit and having to work through my stuff. But it was the city of Liverpool, and it was the people when I'd be going for me runs. Yes, the meatball, you'll get it next time. Like, and you'll feel like you know everything that I'm saying.
That's
Don't you?
suicidal. It's not said with just passing comments. It's a real thing, and it's a dark time. When you get stopped, it's different to getting beat. You don't lose your record, you lose your confidence as well. You've got to build up, and these little things, as a scousers, they're with it.
Yeah.
And you're in tune with them, these people who support you. It's amazing, man, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you got the support of the people. One thing I was talking about the other day, what would you rather be? It's a tough one. Champion of the world with no people behind you, or the people's champ, and you never got to win a world title?
I'd take that every day. It's in me, gives me goosebumps every time. It's in me bio on Twitter, working class hero, the people's champion. Like we are that, because it's like blue collar working class. Like, you've come up the hardest, longest way. People have been less gifted than us, but being given the easy fights and the quick ticket all the way there. But in the end, our legacy and what we've done will always last more than, like, they'll be like, oh, that's just Joe Bloggs, do you know what I mean? Like, but that's cool. Obviously, the goal is to be world champion, but if it meant...
You can have it all, can't you? But
you can, but if it meant to inspire, and if it had a different meaning to it, like, to be the people's champion means more, I think, if you're a people person. Do you know what I mean? Because, like, we'd fight for free. Like, I don't make a lot of money doing what I'm doing.
don't tell the promoters that.
They make loads of money. But, yeah, you don't make life-changing money, like, right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, in a few more fights, it'll be life-changing. But right now, it's a good living, but it's not as much as what people think.
Isn't it?
Sorry,
Not
Mark,
what people think
I
that I am.
interrupted there. You were talking about, you told Paul,
Oh, how good. Hey, well done for backtracking there, because we just get carried away, don't we? So I've told Paul this anyway, and I thought, right, how do I get better? What do I do? So I done, for 100 days, I didn't pick up a punch glove. I can't even speak. A glove. All I did was grapple. So to be better, you have to be out of your comfort zone. No growth comes in a comfort zone. Right? Give me the best person I can go with every day. Put me in that same position. Take me back. Do you know what I mean? And then I just escape. And then the 100 days turned to 150. And then this was December time, and Paul Rimmer had said to me, I'll tell you when you're ready to fight again. You'll fight when you submit a black belt. So it goes white, blue, purple, brown, black. You spend about 3 years at each belt. And that's why if you get a black belt in jiu-jitsu, it's not like karate and judo and that. It's like, that's like 12 years at least time saved on the mat. And it was his Christmas promotion, and he had promoted one of the girls to black belt. And I'm like, you used to go together. 45 minutes, like, it was until that person subbed. 45 minutes went. And I was drunk, by the way, because I didn't know I had to roll. So I was out drinking with the lads. And then,
Are you drunk now?
I'm just messing. No, but one of the lads had give me this Jamaican wine. It's called Magnum or something. It's like this little. You want to have a bit of that? And I was like, that, wow. I had to go run across the road and get some shoe eyes in me because I thought I'm pissed here. But anyway.
I'm doing a black belt now. I need some shoe, man.
Yes, no, he's gone, you've got to roll. I said, I'm not, like, I can't roll with him. I was like, he went, but Rosie's got a black belt. Like, you've got to roll with her. So then I thought, oh, fuck. I didn't tell him I had had a drink. And anyway, 45 minutes passed and I subbed him.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and we're still with them thoughts and the little demons and you're not good enough, that imposter syndrome, all that kind of thing. And we're sitting there, he's giving all the belts out and then he just goes, meatball. And I look and he just goes, bump, and gives me my purple belt. Well,
just out of the blue.
Listen, I started crying my eyes out and I was like that, because everyone had seen I wear my heart on my sleeve and they see the pain every day and they see how much I was forcing it and I was working and it just never, it wasn't coming and then it came.
Yeah.
And then that was it. That was like, I was on steads then. I was like, I was bulletproof again, do you know what I mean? I was like, guess who's back again.
And that just lifted you right up again.
Listen, I get the phone call, UFC London, March 16th, Priscilla Cachoeira. I'm like, that, right. So I go like a fucking mad woman for whatever it was, 12 weeks. And we're sponsored by a company called Vortex CPS. So strength and conditioning, weight making safely.
He's been on, Carl Evans.
Yeah. Well, they just fixed me. I say fixed me. They scientifically broke me down. Like, I'd got to the UFC of heart and determination. They've added the science.
Yeah.
And then when I've weighed in, the last fight I had to cut 15 pounds the night before. This fight, I was on weight, sitting with Dan Hardy, Mike Bisbee, fucking everyone drinking water next to them. And I was like, I'm going to fucking show you.
So everything just come in?
I was like, no, I've worked for this. This isn't by like magic. Like, I've sacrificed my life, relationships, like everything. I've sacrificed it all for this moment. And I remember at the weigh-in, in MMA, you do it, you go on the stage and then you have, you can have a bit of a go at each other, do you know what I mean? You've seen a Conor McGregor weigh-in anyway. And I just remember she's walked up, weighed in, I come in and I just had the St. George's flag behind me and I was like, this is my fucking house. And then I get in her face, right? And she just comes like she's from the favelas, ex-drug addict, fighting to save like the favela, do you know what I mean? Like her career, like both our careers was in the balance here, so we knew how good it was going to be and I put my nose on it. Like that. And I said, this is my fucking house.
Did you come in as a different beast this time?
Oh yeah, like my mind, I was just like, anytime doubt crept in, I thought I'd look at how much training I'd done. I've ran 5 times a week. I've sparred 3 times a week. I've done 3 MMA sessions, 3 boxing sessions, and 3 jiu-jitsu sessions, and 2 weight sessions. No one's fucking beating me in my house. And then I'm speaking to her and she doesn't even fucking understand what I'm saying, do you know what I mean? Because she can't speak English and she's giving it all that. And then it was the first time I'd gone to bed on my own as a fighter, not being in a relationship because I was single at the time. And I thought, this is all me. This me coaches have banned me mum from coming just because they knew how emotional I was going to be, how emotional she would. And they was like, you're not seeing her. You can see everyone after the fight. And we brought in new procedures because of what we'd learned from UFC Liverpool. And I shit you not, lad, I woke up, I put my headphones in and I had my walkout tune on repeat and I was just visualising, walking out, feeling everyone as I'm coming out, listening to my song, feeling everyone screaming my name. And I just burst into tears. I went downstairs and this Welsh woman ran over to me. You're okay? Molly, you're all right? I went, I'm about to go and be the first English woman to win in the UFC. And she was like, what? I was like, I'm going to live my dream. Anyway, I walked out to this song called I Follow Rivers and it's like, I follow. Yeah, anyway, everyone's fucking singing it to me. I was second on, but it was full because Darren Till was headlining the card, so it was like chocker. And first round, look at her. You read them, this is my house. Not one step back, boom. Ran over, we just go. From the first second, we just go. And the second round, smash it to bits. I'm 2 up. I'm like, right, I've saved it for the last round, yeah. I nearly submitted it in the first as well. So she like had a kind of like a broken arm. So I thought, right, I'm going to get the finish here. I step in, I go southpaw. Something you're told, like, don't go unless you're going to go. You don't just turn southpaw just to take a step forward because you get clocked. What happens? Boom, take a thumb to the eye, like fractures my orbital bone and my eye just closes up like that. And I was told before this fight, if you lose, you cut. If you get finished, you cut. And I'm like, that fuck. So I've had to go southpaw again so that because my depth perception was gone at this point, like I couldn't see. And then I looked up at the clock. I was like, right, there's 4.5 minutes here for the rest of my life. And honestly, I bit down on my gum shield and I just kept going forward. And then she was grabbing me hair and she was doing like illegal moves just to try and finish. And she kept near my eye, so my eye was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then the ref was my friend, Rich, and he calls the doctor in because like I can't see. The doctor goes like that, tries to open my eye, doesn't open. He goes, can you see? I go, yeah. He goes, all right, last 30 seconds, you know what I mean? And I just went for it. And then at the end of the fight, I just remember running over to the camera and screaming, this is how much it fucking means. And I was just crying my eyes out. And then when I won, it was like, I've never felt that moment again since. I've been like a drug addict trying to get that, chase that feeling. It's never, I've had to like deal, it's never coming back again. But Dan Hardy put his arms around, he's like, how does it feel to be the first English woman to win in the UFC? I went, how about that? And then I just went, I'm from the fucking hardest city in the world. I'm from Liverpool, that was for you. Do you know what I mean? And then fucking, yeah.
Oh, right.
So then my life's just been great ever since then, yeah.
That was lovely, that.
We were watching the Instagram stories in that night, Mal. I was crying, I was watching, you were eating the pizza and all that.
Yeah, because it had gone like, I'd got rushed to the hospital, and I remember it, like, I took my phone, I said, this is, like, to anyone who thinks you cannot do it, you fucking can. Like, no matter what, just keep going. And I remember it, like, if you could imagine, I literally went, poof, like, a success overnight, so I couldn't really get back. I've got one eye, I'm like, I just want to go and get to the party, I just want to see everyone, do you know what I mean? And I remember messaging him, and he was like, I'm sitting here crying. And I was like, thank you so much. There's a picture of me in the hospital, and I've got a bottle of Grey Goose, I've got the St. George's flag, and my eyes just fucked. I was like, just a little fracture, said, but I like party on, do you know what I mean? Went back to the hotel, haven't ate all day and all that, do you know what I mean? Because the nerves and that, and like, I'm like that. I bought loads of bottles of gin and vodka and like hid them down the back of like a couch.
Yeah.
Not for me. Because I knew how expensive it was for everyone. I was just like, just go and get like a Coke from the bar, and then there's your ale, do you know what I mean? Because I was thinking, look, we're working class people, it's costing people $150 for a hotel, £100 on the train. I was like, I just tried to do my bit, do you know what I mean?
People don't see the side of it, do they, Mo? You're
no.
fighting on telly, but you don't see that side, do you?
No.
So I'm just looking at Chase there. Chase, you feel inspired there, don't you? He's a nice
Jason, the corner,
The Molly effect or the
I know,
ale
he's
effect.
having a fucking tear down his eyes, so happy.
And
Sorry, Molly.
do you know what was the best? So I can't see with one eye. I'm fucking flying around like the happiest kid in the world. And I was like, can we get a picture? So everyone who got tickets, there must have been only about 150 people I knew, sent them my location so that they could come to the hotel. So I've got them all behind me. Take this fucking iconic picture. Next day, I'm looking. I'm not even in it because I can't see because of my eye. So I've just got a picture of everyone else, and I was devastated because I never got a picture of them with anyone else. But after that, that's what changed my life. And then I just literally went from the next to the next, and then people just kept coming, and we kept raising our standards. Like every fight camp, how can we improve? How can we be better? And it's just a bit shit since lockdown. I've had 2 fights and I've lost them both, and it's been to spoilers. So in a boxing sense, we're taught how to deal with people who spoil you. In MMA, because it's new, people don't really go into spoil, they go into like to have a go. So the last 2 fights, I've just kind of been lay on.
Sorry, what does that?
Spoiler, so in boxing terms, if somebody, I'm going to work on you and you can hold me, and come on, referee,
okay.
he's spoiling the fight.
Yeah,
But
okay.
in MMA, you can grapple and you can find ways to spoil the fight.
So the way in which you would
They're not coming
spoil
to fight.
Illegal.
yeah, so they fight a different way. So, right, you fight Molly McCann, do you want to get hit? No. Can you take her down? No. Can you submit her? No. What you do, you hold her against the cage or you lie on top of it and just do enough work so the ref doesn't stop. And that's what happened. And then I was in Las Vegas. It was my dad's birthday. My dad's passed away, and his dream was for me to fight in Vegas. So I've got all this with me, right? Carrying Liverpool, first English woman to fight in Vegas, blah, blah, all that. And it didn't come to fruition. And I was like, no, I've never lost 2 on the bounce of anything in my life. Do you know what I mean? I was like, how do you do with that? So I was frustrated, and I went back to my hotel room, and I just was like, because we was in a bubble, we wasn't even allowed out. So imagine that. Couldn't even get a nail. Right, so could you imagine that?
Just check behind the couch.
Before you go further, explain the bubble for us. What it was
So
like going into a bubble and what it felt like for the people
who aren't watching. So in
who are
or listening or haven't been a fighter, the bubble, the UFC never stopped the whole of lockdown, and Eddie Hearn and all them, Dana gave them, like, this is the blueprint, this is how you can get your stuff going, you know. So you get tested for 2 weeks before you go, and then you'll fly, and then you'll have to you'll have to go in the bubble for 2 days. The bubble, you cannot leave that area. They've bought a hotel in Las Vegas now, red corner this side, blue corner this side. You have your own training room and your own room, and you and all your coaches have to stay in different rooms. Because if one of them has COVID, they're gone and you get to stay. It's horrible. Imagine me and you have to be with our thoughts and not being able to fucking speak to people on the best, happiest week of your life. Yeah. Even though it's like, it's a strain because you're cutting weight and you're depleted, but fuck, you're in Vegas, you're living your dream. Like, it's a privilege to fight. It's not a right. So every day, every time that we do that, no one's forcing us to do it. We're doing it because we're privileged enough that we've got the God-given talent to do it. Do you know what I mean? And after it, you couldn't even go out. So I've lost, come back. I'm in this hotel, and then I'm speaking to all the big wigs, and they're like, even in a loss, you've got better, but this is the last lesson you need to learn now. And I was like, right, yeah, okay. So then, this is the Saturday. The following Saturday, Gillian Robertson's fighting. So this is the girl who put me to sleep in Liverpool, right?
The first one.
The first one. Gives a message. Listen, I'm going to stay in Vegas. Do you want me to help you fight week? I'll corner you. We'll get some training in. Absolutely. So the person, I always say, the best and worst thing of my life is Gillian Robertson. She's your
Apollo Creed.
She was the best and the worst thing that ever happened to me. Do you know what I mean? So we just put a picture up. I remember on fight week, and I told everyone, I was like, I'm not coming home. I'm staying out here. I'm fucking going to rectify. I want the UFC to know, like, I'm here. Do you know what I mean?
It takes a big person, that, Mal, to offer your services to someone who's gone ahead.
Yeah, and especially to someone like, she didn't need to make me only come back by £9. She didn't need to take them, like, but she's got the most finishes in the whole of the females in UFC, like more than Ronda Rousey. Like, she's the best submission artist. So I thought, I've lost by grappling, even though it wasn't jiu-jitsu. It wasn't like a submission I've lost to. It was just like a certain technique. I'll work with her and her coach. Her coach, Din Thomas, his name, is absolutely fine. And then that week, he's like, kid, I really like you. Like, I want to work with you. Like, he doesn't even take money off people to train. He just picks who he wants to work with because he's made enough money. He's like, I just want to change that person's life. So anyway, when we're leaving after the fight night, I'm coming back to England. He goes, I want you to come and train with me. So I'm actually going out in June to do like 3 or 4 weeks training with him and Gillian, but in Florida. But as I'm on my way home, I ring a lad who lives in Spain, and he's a catch wrestler, so it's like wrestling with submissions. He said, you're very similar to me. This is what you need to do. So I'm fine. So instead of coming home and partying or sitting in self-pity, I just went, I need to go out of my comfort zone again. So I just went to Spain for 5 weeks, and started in that same position that I lost in. Kept putting myself in the worst case scenarios, going with people bigger than me, stronger than me, better weight belts than me. And I learned so much. His name's Chris Thompson and his wife, Louise Thompson. Learned so much. And there was a jiu-jitsu competition, the first one back in Europe, and you needed to be a Spanish citizen to enter. So he's from Wigan, so anyway, he knows a few people. So he's got me a Blag Residencia. Right, so I've rocked up to this competition, and everyone's like, so...
The gringo.
The meatball in Spanish is La Albóndiga. So I was like, La Albóndiga. So I was like, yes. So I've rocked up, and it's 4 fights for gold. And when my name gets called to the mat, it was like an Olympic competition. So it's like your names come up, and just, you know, when you'd be walked out when it was an amateur, it was like a big fucking deal, and then you've got to come to the middle, bow. And I was looked, and everyone had just come down to my mat because there was only 3 mats because of COVID. And I was like, fuck. Like, fighters in MMA don't put themselves in situations where it's not their discipline a lot. And I don't know why, but I just feel like I'm a martial.
It's scary, isn't it?
Yeah, because you're probably not going to win. So it's like, it's a loss on like a global scale. Like, it's different for the person I'm going against to lose to me, but she's got everything to gain. Anyway, I ended up beating them all, and I won gold. And in the last fight, when I'm fighting for gold, she poked me in the eye. She was pulling me hair, and it was like everything I'd learned from every opponent I've ever faced, how to overcome that adversity and not just go scouse on it and just fucking butt it. Like, I just had to stay conditioned and disciplined to what the game plan was. Anyway, I took her down, strangled her, and then I got up and I went, I'm fucking back. And then I came home because I thought, right, I'm ready to go back to it now. Do you know what I mean? And that was about 3 weeks ago. And I rang my manager, who's like, look, we'll look to get you out in September. You've learned everything you need to do. Let's go again.
That competition giving it that little boost you need as well.
Yeah.
What's I'm fucking back in Spanish?
I'm fucking your back. Stands at home at the end, remember?
Yeah.
Leave it in the comment section below.
Yeah, so like, the moral to the story is you just can't give up. And like, I mean, to lose 2 on the bounce and the biggest stage,
yeah,
and
but you can't challenge yourself in an uncomfortable situation, and that's what gives you the confidence to come back. But it's interesting that this girl's approached you in the UFC, and then this other fella's approaches. They've seen things that you can work on and say, yeah, come on.
Back-to-back losses.
Is that what it's like?
Back-to-back losses. Little things like this gives you confidence because these are at the top of the game, but they still know your worth.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So
is there a lot of
on
that?
TV, but you are getting it. The off these people, you're getting the recognition. These people at the top, so that just build your confidence, doesn't it?
Yeah, like
Is there a lot of that in that community though, where you go, do you want to help all the time?
It just kind of depends. Like, there's not as much ego in mixed martial arts because you get humbled every fucking day in jiu-jitsu. It's not like boxing. I feel as if in football and boxing there's like godlike status because from this age, like that's just been fed to them. So it's kind of not even like the fighter or the footballer's fault because it's all you know. But we are humbled every day in the gym. Do you know what I mean? And people, martial arts is a journey and it's about expression. Like fighting is your truest form of expression. That's what Bruce Lee would say. So you can express yourself your best when you're fighting.
It's not like a spiritual aspect, Mal.
I think so, lad, because I think you're very much the same. Like when you fight, you're not like obviously you're going in there to win, but it's all of it. It's looking good. It's like it's outclassing them. It's being so technically great. Do you know what I mean? But it's the journey to get to that. So you have to have the discipline there. You have to follow them, like the rules that each discipline would, like as in discipline, like Thai boxing, all that. Each one gives to you and will add value to you. And ultimately it's about being the best version of you every day and constantly growing and taking on knowledge. But you would never think that about the martial arts. Like you probably wouldn't think that about Darren Till, but he's like that. He wants to learn every day. Like
it's got meaning, hasn't it? It's got purpose and meaning what you're doing, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's not
just a win.
I'm literally not just going in there just to beat someone up. That's not it. It's like I just want to learn and put into practice what I've learned. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because you get humbled a lot, people are more susceptible to being critiqued and to being coached. And if you're a good enough fighter, probably you might never have to do that. Do you know what I mean? But there's no O's in MMA. Like if you have like a 15-10 record or a 15-4 or 5, that's next level. Do you know what I mean? So
I like about MMA, Mal, because I was saying before, weren't we, about the journeyman. Is there any sort of journeyman, journeywomen?
Not that. Like, and that's why maybe MMA has come on leaps and bounds because there's no blag. Like you can't blag the public. You cannot blag it. And that's why there's a lot more losses though, because you're learning on the job against different styles that you may have never come up against. Whereas in boxing, people are paid to what's the word? Like to raise your game. Like when you're fighting 4-rounders and 6-rounders. Go on, what are you going to say?
It's like an extra, isn't it, on someone's journey? That's what we were saying before.
Peter Buckley on, who was a journeyman.
Oh, yeah.
And John was saying, well, we have that in the acting world and they're called extras.
Oh, is that what it is? Well, obviously.
But that was another way of putting it, wasn't it? They used,
you
know,
a prop.
A prop.
A prop. When you,
I don't know, that was your shout.
Yeah. But I don't think it's fair. Like, I don't know. Mine's the truest form of prize fighting. It's like the real life gladiator. That's what we do. Do you know what I mean? And the purest form of fighting, unarmed combat, that's what we do. And there's no blag to it. So I think that's why MMA is respected a little bit more than in the boxing community.
I've got a twin sister, right?
Is this a joke?
Well, it is a bit of a
okay.
Look at this. My name's John May, and her name's Emma. Her name's MMA.
Well, to that, isn't it?
Isn't that fucking cool? MMA. So every time you say MMA, I just hear my sister's name. Moving on.
Yeah, so
in the MMA, in the boxing, what I find is that the media coverage on these fighters is totally different. So if I say to you, Darren, who am I on about?
Darren?
Yeah, if I say Connor, who am I on about?
McGregor.
These people, you're only saying the first name. How many Connors and Darrens is there in the world? If I say Molly or Meatball, you know what we're talking about. But in boxing, if I say James,
no. If you say Jazzy, come on, every one of those.
It is like like the gladiators years ago, isn't it? It sort of is. The best will rise to the top.
Yeah, and if you'd imagine, like they used to, like it's marketed probably like they was a bit like slaves, but they weren't. Like they was fed the best, they was trained the best. Like they was like stoics and philosophers though, do you know what I mean? Like they was just all about learning and none of them would really actually get like die because they'd lose too much money on it. So
when I first seen or heard the UFC and it was all these different disciplines, that's the first thing that come into my mind. Was just like the way it was with the Romans.
Yeah.
It's that sort of...
Because you like...
It is the closest thing,
You're in what's that thing that...
They're in like...
it's in Rome.
What is it, Chase?
An amphitheater, but it's got another name, hasn't it? Well, that's what that's based on anyway. But you know what's mad about it?
Oh, so it's based on that?
Yeah, so do you know when you box, right, you go through the ropes, or in Thai boxing, you always go over the ropes, right? And in MMA... They shut the door, they put the bolt across, and then they fucking lock it.
Yeah. 6 bolts.
Yeah, right, listen, imagine this. My first MMA fight, I'd never even been in a cage before, right? I'd only been in boxing rings. So as I've walked in, I'm looking at these little gloves thinking, oh, she's getting bingoed in these, right? And I'm walking in, and then they shut the thing, and I just hear, and I thought, oh no, what have I done here? I was like, I didn't even really kick it. I just went in and punched the head off it, and then took it down. I was like, see, I can do it, it's easy.
So, you've established yourself in the sport, Mal. Where do you find yourself now in terms of fighting for the UFC
So
world title?
I'm working with a new mindset coach. His name's Tom Smith, because I've realised I'm successful enough to know what to say and how I should think in a fight camp, but little bits of doubt creep in and I wasn't getting rid of it. I was just letting it stay there. And not that it really affected my performance, but my mindset had changed in the last 2 fights. I started thinking, well, I'm just going to be like a Donald Cerrone, or I'm going to be like a Jorge Masvidal who gets in there, fucking has it, and you're the people's champ, right? And then this Tom Smith sits me down, he goes, I don't know what's happened, but I don't believe that if you say you're going to be a world champion again, I don't believe you. And then I was like, I don't believe myself, actually. I don't, like, because I'm fighting in my mind for a different reason now. It's just to be the best me on the day. Like, the older I've got, the less ego I've got and the more humble I've got. Like, I take each fight as it comes. I've stopped looking at the angle. And then he's had to sit me down, strip it back, and just reaffirm in my mind, you're 3 wins away from fighting for a world title. So fucking get that shit out your head. You will be a world champion again. So he has me right. Me and you will do gratitude every day. Whether we write it, we speak it, we think it, it's there. I have to open my book every day. God and universe, I'm thankful because, I'm happy because, and then I say my gratitude and what I'm thankful for. And then I've got a mantra and I repeat this to myself every day. I'm too fucking fast. I'm too fast. I'm too good. I can't even fucking remember it. I'm too fucking fast. I'm too fucking good. I am successful beyond measure, and I change everyone's life that I come into contact with. Because your mantra just basically has to be something about you and what you want to do. So I'm just saying, like, I'm too fucking fast. I'm too
just
fucking good.
Reinforcing yourself.
Yeah, but then it's not only about my fighting. It's about every person I meet. I want them to have a better experience of their day about meeting me. Do you know what I mean? So that's in there. I will change people's lives for the better as well.
Well, I only met you. I met you about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. A week Monday.
Was it a week Monday? But it did. You left it, and you had an impact on me, like.
Yeah, well, it's just to make someone smile, or just to give someone a bit of
yeah.
Like, what's happening? Happy birthday, Joseph!
Yeah, no, I've never forgot you for that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Regardless of who you are, so it's working.
Thank you very much.
I mean?
And that's the biggest compliment that I think I could take. But then I write my goals, and he's like, you got to be more specific about your goals. My goal, I will fight on September the 11th in front of a sold out crowd in America, and I will absolutely destroy my opponent. I will obliterate it, and then I'll explain how. And then I'll say what I'm going to do after I've won. And then I'll say what I'm going to get after that and how my life's going to be after that. And then I'll put a date on it and then I sign it. And I say, thank you, universe, it's done. That's my contract to myself, accountability. And these are the little things that he's doing with me every day. He's on the phone to me for an hour. Kid, he's from Belfast. He's fucking...
I've had an hour with Tom.
So you know, you're very much aware how much you can change your life.
Empowered.
Empard, no.
He says Empard.
You heard them say
Parshar.
Ferrero Rocher. Ferrero. I go, have you seen her hair? Like, hair. And he's like, her. But I like, people can't copy him. They can't copy a Northern Irish accent. They struggle. I just rip them to bits. And they've got a famous saying. They go, that's us now. And Carl Frampton says it all the time. Like, that's us now. In a bit, do you know what I mean? I always go, that's us now. But yeah.
You know how they say lashes? Lisses.
Do they, yeah?
Apparently so, yeah.
I haven't heard that one yet.
Your mate from Belfast, get her to say lashes.
Lashes.
She'll say lisses.
Lesses.
Lisses.
Yeah. What else did they say loads? But what I found with what don't they say? What I found with
vocabulary over there nowadays.
They that city, for its troubles, for everything it's been through, I feel like Belfast is the Liverpool of the whole of the island, North and the Republic.
It's amazing how many fighters they've got in it from such a small land.
I know. I'm flying over on the weekend to go and spar Paddy Barnes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out Paddy Barnes.
Yeah, P Barnes, yeah. Yeah, but that city's took me under its wing as much as what this has. Well, not as much, but they're starting to anyway. But yeah, he's just basically just turning him, like, he's like, this is how you do business, and this is I'm going to mentor your business and how you do that and handle yourself with that, because I've just never touched it. And this is how you're going to approach fighting again.
He's so driven, isn't he?
And like every person I've met literally in the last 6 months since working with 6 weeks since working with him is just like, fuck knows what you're on, but give some of that. I'm like, it's Tom Smith, get on that, because I'm just glowing because he's made me believe again.
When you're reaffirming these things, Mo, you're writing them down on a piece of paper. That's the first stage, innit? Mm-hmm. You're writing them down, obviously, to affirm something that you don't subconsciously believe. How long are you saying these things to yourself in your mind before you actually believe it in?
So before meeting him, this is when I'm at a bit of a crossroads. Like, I think I'm just fighting to be the best me. I weren't believing what I was writing. Yeah. And when you speak to the universe, I sound pony when I'm saying this, but if you don't believe the words you're saying, it's not going to work. Like, you have to believe the words you're saying, or don't fucking say them, because you're just wasting your time and the universe's time. Like, but I feel like when you write your goals, if you're driven and if you've got stuff to be looking to, you get lost. And I just make it like a film. Like, I just write a goal down, like my wildest dreams. Like, I'm just going to go and I'm going to spark this girl out, and then Dana White's going to take me in his car with him after, and we're going to go and have a whiskey and go to the casino, and people won't see me for a week because I'll be lost on one with Dana White. Like, but this is what I'm thinking, it's going to be like a film, like, this is how it's going to go, do you know what I mean? But I give myself that date and I reaffirm them every single day until it happens. But the likes of me and you, we've done that since we were kids. Well, I've always put dates on things. I will be in the UFC by this date. I will be a world champion by this date. And it's always happened. But there was just a little bit of time where it stopped because I weren't believing in myself.
Confidence thing. And repetition definitely does work. I would advise anyone who is starting out in that type of journey mode to just, even if you don't believe it, repeat it. Although you don't believe it now, we'll see him moan it.
Does that work for you?
Subconsciously. Yeah, for everyone, low on confidence. Yeah, I've been low on confidence many times. And I've had to, sometimes I go back to what I have achieved. Let's go back to my starting point. What have I achieved? What have I got today? Not what I want, what I have. And that puts me in a good position, a position of gratitude.
Yeah.
Because the more you've got, the more you're receiving, aren't you? Rather than more I want, the more I'm not.
Interesting that. Because I looked at because I suffer, well, like self-belief, low self-esteem. And like I've had a few interesting things happen today. And when I was driving, he was like, hang about, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm speaking to this person. A year ago, that wouldn't have been happening. And I think, wow, do you know what I mean? So is that what you mean, being grateful for what's going on right now?
We lift weights together. Like, we're always in camp together, which is just madness, isn't it? Because it went from, what are you, 28?
30.
Oh, 30. Oh, fuck yeah. Sorry, I literally told you that last Monday, didn't I?
No, when you wish me to...
Happy 30th. Yeah. He was 15 and I was 16 when I met him. Lo and behold, we didn't know, but our mum, like my mum knew his dad years and years, probably just about when we was just first like babies. But our paths have always crossed. And I remember one day, he just got a car and he picked me up and he was like, I'll drop you off. And I hadn't seen him for years. And then he dropped me off lifting weights, and then like 2 weeks later he was there with me lifting weights at the same time. And then it's always nice to vibe off the same person. So sometimes if I'm going in, I feel really shit, and I'll be like, oh, how do you feel today? And what do you say? What's your answer to that?
It's just positive or negative, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm positive or negative, that's it. I'm like,
You are?
no, that's what he says. I'm like, how do you feel? I'll go, lads, I feel like shit, you know, like I've just been kicked by the lads everywhere. He's like, yeah, I feel positive. He's like this, because he has to. Do you know what I mean? It's just positive or negative. You can't feed. That's the famous proverb, isn't it? You can feed the good wolf or you can feed the bad wolf.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
When Molly says go back to our parents' knew each other, we actually then got a DNA test and then it turns out we're brothers and sisters.
Just to confirm his aren't eyes.
No.
Belter that though, wouldn't it? Belter. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but yeah, because it's funny, like, I really feel like Nick Pete said to me once, me and Jazz would do different interviews with him in the Radio City Tower, and he'd be like, people take from this city, but you two will always give back more than you'll ever take. Yeah. And that was like the nicest thing I think anyone could say. And I was just like, that, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, for him to compare me to you, it was a compliment to me.
Because we talk the same stuff. It's probably because our parents have been through the same things, and then we, like, the 12-step program is really spiritual, isn't it? And I think it really does come down to the universe, and then talking about like the power and gratitude. And we've just been taught to live that way since we were kids. Recovery babies we are.
Well, it's interesting, because they therefore you appreciate everything, don't you?
It annoys everyone though, because I'm like that, oh my God, you've got KFC. Because I remember the time no one was having money to go and have a takeaway, do you know what I mean? It's like you can have one every day. Oh my God, every day. And they're like, fuck.
Yeah, I said to me lad the other day, well, I'm coming home now, lad, want you want something to eat? He said, just get me a Mackey's or something. I went, what? But no, it's just like a monthly treat or something, like the Mackey's, what? A fucking Mackey's?
I know. And I'd only get a Mackey's as a kid for the toy. I wouldn't even eat it. I was like that.
So went to Mackey's, got him Mackey's.
Yeah.
So things seem to change more. Something's different about you. Maybe it is what you're doing with Tom.
Yeah.
You seem to like be a bit of an entrepreneur. You're always busy. You're doing this things outside of the sport.
Well, do you know, towards the end,
confidence to do that, because it's scary, isn't it? To give your time to something more than a fight.
Yeah.
Than a camp.
Like just before, when I was getting ready for this last fight, so I fought in February, I was starting to get like really spiritual. And when I speak to God, it wasn't the man in the sky. It was just like, it was the name I was using to the universe. But I started going to church, right? And I was just grounding myself again with like religion. But I wouldn't say like I've found God, but I just feel like I'm just trying to live a better life.
Yeah.
A more structured life, and I feel like I've just given myself through like a new routine. I've just ended up in business and having the meatballs to be able to just go fuck it.
Is this you stepping out of your comfort zone again?
Yeah, that's it, lad. Like after I leave here, I'm literally I'm releasing a children's illustrated book about how to come out as gay. So, like, I didn't come out till I was, like, 25, like, openly out. And it was, like, a very, what's the word? Confusing time.
I was going to ask for your number after this.
Fuck off.
I like a challenge.
Yeah. Don't use all. No, I'm just messing. But, like, to do that is something that's, like, a hard conversation to have. And it took me a long time to get there. But then to just think, fuck it, I'm just speaking with Tom. He's got a book. Fuck it, I can draw.
Yeah.
I can't really.
No way.
I've got Sean Webster to draw, but I've wrote it. Sean's illustrated it and done all
Good
that.
for you, Mal. What's the...
Do you know Sean?
No, but I've got a boss idea for you. I come up with this idea years ago and you can have it. It's about gay.
Don't tell them.
It's about...
Tell me.
Should I give you it?
No, go on. Yeah, say
so anyway, so it's like, I'm not gay, but I got called a bear. And then you got your otter. And then you got your chick. And then you got your old... This is what men... It's like code or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like there's different body types and in the gay community.
Oh, is it? See, I don't even know this.
Yeah,
yet.
I do.
Do you? Yeah.
Anyway, Dean Sullivan taught me all this. He taught me all the hanky codes and everything in the pocket.
You're joking.
What's the hanky code? Fucking hell. I just say that?
Jazz, you just never have it out like that, I think, lad. You never do that.
Yeah, but different colours
It's
mean
never
different.
do that.
different
Why not?
different colours mean different things.
I don't know. I seen it on Prison Break.
You are? Blackpool code? What's that mean, Chase? Anyway, the Bear and the Otter.
Yeah.
That's what it was called, the Bear and the Otter. But it was a story about, kids maybe later on coming out. And I'll tell you this, you can have it.
Okay.
It's
I'll
good.
do it after.
It's good. It's normalising it.
Yeah. Well, because this is the thing. Like, even when I was writing this book for kids, I'm speaking in their terminology. So it's just how I talk, really. I just had to write. Do you know what I mean? But even writing the word gay, it's like it was like a faux pas for me. I was like that, and then I was like, I can write it because people are allowed to say it and should be encouraged to say it. Like, it's not a negative thing. But where I grew up,
Yeah.
it was spoken about in a derogatory way. And where I done sport, it was like, whatever, you man head, you dyke, whatever. Straight away, I didn't want to be connected with that because it was like a derogatory form towards me. Do you know what I mean?
Have you battled with that,
People were
Molly?
using it as a negative thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
I
I was,
get it.
but I really did like.
You didn't feel like you were allowed to embrace it?
Well, I didn't even have my first real relationship till I was 21 because I didn't have time. We was chasing a dream, weren't we, Jazz? And you just weren't asked about birds or boys.
So when we were kids in that mode, was there any...
I didn't think like that. Like in my 20s, I didn't think like that because I didn't think.
There's a lot of people watching, Molly, who are going to draw inspiration from this.
No, listen, like the people I've told about this book have then come out after listening to me talk about it, and like for one person, for this book just to work for one person, that's all I wanted. Do you know what I mean? But I told the story of coming out to BBC last year. It's the first time I'd ever spoken about it, to be fair. And they've got like a LGBT podcast where sports people are asked to come and tell their story. And now it's like they're getting rugby players come and do it, and like ex-wrestlers are coming out now. And it's a shame that males feel like they can't till sport's finished. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So I would like it to be like a little a series, and then maybe the next one would be like a man talking about his experience, because it's just my experience that I want that kids will be able to understand. Do you know what I mean?
You don't get. It's just in the sport as well. It's like you don't get many gay footballers. Let's have a straight.
Not out. Like,
no, not out.
I
There
had
must be so many.
I had the
that are.
conversation last night. I can't remember who I was with. I was drunk, weren't I? But we had the conversation with the most. Think how many men play football, and especially like in fighting. It's just like not really spoken about because it's an intimate thing. Like when you're rolling around with someone, it's not actually intimate where it's a sexual thing, but you're in someone's space, and someone who is, I have to say this correctly, unaware, like a gay man rolling with a straight man wouldn't think, ooh, like rolling jiu-jitsu with them. But like an uneducated straight man could be like, he's gay, he fancies me. And we're talking like 1960s, like mentality, yeah, but it's still very much rife in...
Where's the insecurity there?
You tell me.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But I thought we'd moved forward and gone like major steps forward. And then I read something, not last year, the year before COVID, homophobic abuse and attacks in Liverpool had gone up 150%. And I thought Liverpool's so gay. Like there's loads of gay people. So it blew my mind.
The amount of kids that are coming out in school now, there's like...
No, I know.
It's normalised now.
Yeah, and like the time when I was a kid, it wasn't. You probably had like one gay person in the whole school and you just got bullied the whole lives. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
I can't say that I weren't that kid. You were probably... I was not brainwashed, but I was just told...
You followed
this is the way. You're not gay, and that maybe is...
Yeah, and that's... I can't expect people to have a different opinion when they... But if they come from a religion and it's taught to them in a certain religion, you have to just be wise enough to understand, I'm probably not going to be able to change your mind. Yeah. That's okay. Don't force your religion that I don't follow on me. I'm not going to force my sexuality on you. I don't force it on anyone. Do you know what I mean? I don't really even talk about it because I just don't. Do you know what I mean?
There was even words more that was associated with it. Like it was a negative thing. Yeah. Like someone would just say, it's gay, that.
So I would still say, that's proper gay. And I'm like, that. I really can't say that. Do you know what I mean? Because Because it was a negative
but
thing.
it means nothing, doesn't it? But
Yeah.
it's associated
like
with
gay actually does mean happy, doesn't it?
Were you scared of the word gay, did you say then?
I think there's certain trigger words what I would have been bullied with. So in the book, it literally it talks about me being at school and always enjoying time with the lads. I'd never looked at a girl like that ever, like as a teenager or anything, but I just remember I just never got on. I didn't want to wear what they was wearing, and it was understanding why am I different? What's different about me? And I thought it was just me passion, and I thought it was just me sport, and then I thought it was just like that separates me from them, and then it wasn't in the end. Do you know what I mean? But I say I only realised who I was and everything like that when I started MMA, because when in jiu-jitsu, religion, sex, race, whatever, doesn't matter when you get on that mat.
Yeah.
We are one. That's what they say, we are one. So that's what gave me the self-esteem to just be like, and I think I left Liverpool. It's when I went back, I was in Bournemouth, and I was just like, no, do you know what? I am me, and I'm finally comfortable with being me. And just through being a kid and being passed around a lot as a kid and never really having anything stable, my family would give me love, and they would say, you're going to be the best in the world. But then I was still always striving. I always had there was just always shit going on, and I was just never comfortable and confident in myself. So even if I get asked now, you'll laugh at this, to do a selfie or talking to a camera to myself, I can't do it, right? Like, I can't do it, because that's like that self-image and all that kind of thing still get me now. I can't do it. You ask me to interview someone or just talk about stuff or fight in front of 50,000 people, piece of cake. But because I can just like deflect, or I can tell a story, it's about me, but it's not, I don't feel like that, do you know what I mean? But then when it's on me...
Is there a self-image issue?
Maybe. Like, it's took me a long time. I'd literally say until turning 30 last year. Like, everyone's like, you've had a proper glow up like the last 18 months. And I just think because I'm finally comfortable in myself. And but this comes with life, right? I'm not going to sit here and think, I feel sorry for myself. It's fucking life. Kids grow up who liked school. A lot of people didn't if they was different. It's horrible. It is life. Do you know what I mean? But there's avenues now for people where it's a lot easier than it was when we was kids. And probably with you or with my parents who were a little bit older, like, life would have been so much different for them as well. And their scars then scarred me. Do you know what I mean? And do you know what I mean? Yeah. So then I need to make sure that I don't do that to the next ones.
The cycle.
Yeah.
That's good that you're talking about. I actually think that the generations are getting harder, man. I just think with the social media and all that, there's things that I would have done now that are coming back on me as a child.
Yeah, probably
I think, fucking hell, thank God. When I think back to some things that I do regret in my life, I think, God, thank God you weren't no social media.
So much pressure on kids nowadays, man. You've got to be even more so. Even though you do get these pockets of kids who've got their own new groups now, which... Because everyone used to just be the same, but in my little girls' school, you got loads of little different groups, but it must be so much harder now. There's so much pressure.
Well, it's more like...
You leave yourself wide open as well.
Like normal humans, your average Joe's getting trolled, and people aren't like... I remember this was something I had to learn when I lost that UFC Liverpool. It's the first time I'd been like given shit and like being picked apart, and I was like, oh, how'd you deal with that? I'm not fucking near fuck. Every single one of them was just wrote a fucking comment to me. But it's just with age you learn to rise above it, you know what I mean? And some days, if I'm starving, go on, tell us about your troll, lad. Tell us.
We're gonna have to do an episode out on the comment section, but it's been getting a bit bad.
Do you want to
But I always believe that you get negative comments when you do really well, Mark, because people are just expressing their jealousy.
People don't like to see you above your station. This is something I've learned.
You make them feel uncomfortable about them, and that's what they do. And then you're a cunt, you're a nonce. You're this.
Oh, that's the best word in Liverpool. Listen, like mud sticks, and what I learned, and I've learned this.
Sounds.
No, it's what I learned. If someone puts that word on you, nonce or grass, there's nothing worse, is there?
You can't see that. You're powerless,
yeah,
you're defeated.
Yeah. It's like, I reckon if you have an argument with someone and you go, fuck, your breath stinks, does them. Just start saying that, yeah, your breath stinks. Powerless.
I don't want to feed them, though. Because you feed them and you just go raw. It's narcissistic supply. They love it. They fuel it.
They do.
But if you don't give them it, they just sit
silence.
and
Now
die.
they know
Yeah.
they've got to us.
But even
They're
by
watching
offering
it
Molly
now.
that drink, then
They've got you, Joe.
just want to be made up. Yes, yes. Anyway,
Where were we, Mol?
What time
I've
is
loved
it?
this.
Have you?
Do you know, I absolutely fucking love you.
Oh.
Inspiration.
Lads.
What is it in that can?
It's Stella,
Skull.
isn't it? Scooper skull.
You know what I've got? I've got a little funnel. I've got a skull in the back of my car. I just normalise it. I just put it in, so I wouldn't give you any.
Yeah. I feel like I've just shared.
You got your own podcast, Mol? Let's get back to the conversation. You got your own podcast. 2 of them, you said, Mol?
Yeah, I've got 2 podcasts. Because I just thought I've still got, I'd like to say 6 years fighting, but it's now about putting things into place that will. I want to be in presenting. I want to be a commentator. I want to be a pundit. I'm really good at breaking down fights, analysing it, and speaking in layman's terms to someone who doesn't understand MMA.
You're relatable.
And you need to practice and work on your craft. A podcast's a really easy way of doing that because you learn how to fuck up and it's just a laugh. Do you know what I mean? So then when it's like we've only got one take, we're good to roll. Do you know what I mean? So
You're just so transparent. Sorry, I was spitting at you.
no, I'm not overshare it and it
No,
gets
you're
me
not
into
over. You know,
nothing.
not oversharing. No, you're transparent, and that's so refreshing, and it's inspiring. I think you're fucking boss.
I'm gonna get
I
a
made up
tattoo
of
of
it,
you
yeah.
on my arm in a minute.
John May.
Yeah. I'm
Don't know how
putting the
I'm making
afro
it. Yeah,
in.
it's not gonna happen, is it?
Get a few vodkas in me, who knows? Just joking.
Molly's having a baby.
Me sperm donor.
Right, so yeah.
Molly Mayer.
Molly May.
Oh.
Stop it, Molly. Stop flirting with me. You'd fucking batter me.
And before we do
Getting
that,
awkward
Mol,
now.
What's the plans for the future, Mol?
I've got, because I won that competition in Spain last month, I've qualified for like the Spanish Open in 23rd of May. So I'm competing then. And then I want to fight in September. So my coach, my manager just said, just keep using this time to keep growing. Like people just do fight camps and don't learn and better themselves where I do. What I'm going to keep on learning is how to negate things and make sure that fighting's always number one priority, but just learn how to do it all at the same time. So like you just need to digest it correctly. And obviously when you start in business, it's chocker for the first little bit and then everything, it'll start running itself soon enough. So, pardon me. So that's it. I just need to make sure I'm a world champion by 2023 September.
Yeah, because starting business in that, Mol, you can't 1 minute be so open to these people, can you? And then go into camp and then you cut them off. People can't deal with that.
They can't, but I've had to say, look, when I'm in camp, phone's off at 10 o'clock, I'm training at these times, I will read your message and I'll be working it out in my head, and when I've got a spare second, then I'll get back to you. Yeah, I can't always be this open and honest and give everyone time when it's my time to be selfish.
Yeah.
But I try my best.
You're setting your boundaries. You've said it to me. You just about setting boundaries. You've got to do what's right.
Yeah. You feel a bit bad, don't you, sometimes?
Yeah,
because you're a different person. It's like Jekyll and Hyde sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah. But then me and him, with the people we are, say we like staying with someone, go home, sit in bed and think, fuck's sake, and then be doing our own selves in.
Yeah, well, I done it last week, to be fair, didn't I? I had to go, didn't I? I set a boundary. I had to go and see my little girl because that's more important to me than anything. But I left early and I felt bad on Jazz and I felt bad on Liam. But it's like, mate, I shouldn't have done.
Who did you have in?
We had Liam Moore. It's interesting. That's good.
But it's just, I don't know, the more you grow up, the more that you just try and be like less toxic and just keep
Also, I
on
do
learning.
think that the main thing is to keep the main thing, and that's MMA for the meatball, isn't it? That was a mouthful, wasn't it?
Isn't it? Say it again,
The
lad.
main thing is the main
The main thing is keeping the main thing the main thing.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah,
the main
that's
thing,
my new main mantra.
A lot of M's in there, Mol. So,
Molly, Maria, Meatball, McCann.
May.
Hey.
Seen it here first.
so where can we find you, Mol? People on social media?
Every handle is just Meatball, Molly. That's it. Keep it short and sweet. Everyone knows. And do you know what's the best though? When people don't call me Molly. Yes, Meatball.
Yeah.
What is the meaty? It's funny. Me mum, Meatball.
Really?
Everyone.
Well, you were referring to yourself as Meatball last week quite a few times.
Is Meatball the alter ego then? Does anyone call you Molly?
Ooh.
Oh.
I think it's Molly if I'm in trouble. Mol. It's just Meatball, isn't it?
Mol when someone's after something.
Mol, you couldn't repost that, could you? I know I haven't spoke to you since school, but look, I've got this new business. Look, I've got a raffle. Look, I've tried it on
I do wax melts.
Yeah. No. I try my best. What are you like? That, like, me and Jazz will give anything, I'm sure you will, to anyone. But you know what? Sometimes I think, you fucking selfish fucker, I've just lost the fight. You're not even, like, literally last 2 months, not even asked how I am. And I haven't spoke to you since 2007. And you want me to share something? Yeah. Get to fuck.
Just it, doesn't it? I got a thing the other day. Jazz, see you fighting for a world title. Do you want to do an interview? And I was thinking, you do know I've been around for 10 years in this game, don't you? And you've never spoken to me once.
Yeah, but now I've got to a point where I can identify it, where I couldn't used to. I just used to take it all in. And I'm just like, no. Like, I'll never speak to certain people, or I won't work with certain people now, because I just think, I'm not giving you. Do you know what? Every minute be the same for you all. I don't have a minute to myself. And even when I'm walking from one meeting to the other, or getting a coffee and just want 5 minutes to decompress, someone walks past you and wants to speak to you. And like, who the fuck am I to say no? Do you know what I mean? But sometimes it's just like that. Oh,
you only came in here for a coffee, didn't you?
I know, kidding now. 2 years of my life, 2 hours of my life gone.
Jace, you mind running the offie?
Hey, this is vodka.
We better wrap it up.
One more thing before we go, Mo. What is the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs? What the podcast name? So
I've got this Sunday, actually, if you look, Brunch Club by Buella on my Instagram, we've got one with Tom Smith, and it's all about mindset and him overcoming alcoholism and drug addiction. The Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball one is just a fighters one, but I'm not really on that one right at the minute, but it's all out there, so you can. There's some good interviews with some good people. If you want to listen.
Links in the bios.
I say this and then we never do it, so you don't have to.
No,
I'm just joking.
No, we will. I will not put links.
No.
I'll shut up anyway. No. Molly, it's been a pleasure.
Please,
you've inspired me.
No.
You've lit a little fire in me a little bit.
Yeah, you gonna go for a run with me in a minute then?
No.
Not that
I'll
much.
go for a romantic walk around the Albert Dock.
You hold me hands.
Whatever you want.
I think I'm plugged out. I'm back in. Right, listen.
I was going to say something and I won't. Right, Molly, thanks for coming.
Can I come on again on another time?
Yeah, love you too.
Okay, see you later. Lads, love yous both. Thank you very much.
Next time on the How Are We Famalam podcast, we'll be speaking to Cutthroat Pete.
You do Wayne Rooney, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
I like you do his kids.
Yeah,
Who else do you do, Pete? So man's asking.
No, I do Ross Barkley, John Stones, Leighton Baines, Pickford, quite a few of the Everton lads. No Liverpool players. don't know what happened there.
Faster Car Finance provide a smooth, hassle-free way for you to apply for car finance and to get the vehicle of your choice. Whether you have good or bad credit, no deposit is required. A decision is reached within minutes, and one of our dedicated finance advisors will be available to discuss your requirements. Apply now at www.fastercarfinance.co.uk.